We go. We are live.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So, a couple things. Um, we have comments on. So, we're using something called StreamYard, and we have comments on, but we do not know who is making the comment. So, when you're making a comment, we would love to see it, but just put who it is. Okay. But let's get on. We got so much to talk about today. It's crazy. And actually, I got really organized and made a PowerPoint
Crazy.
with pictures.
Crazy.
Okay, I am not a PowerPoint person, but I made a PowerPoint. Look at that. Are we ready?
Ready.
Let's chat about winter on board Tangaroa, because last week was a little bit...
Well, out of the norm for this winter. This winter has been phenomenal so far until last week. And then last week, the week before last, I guess, because we had the ice, then we had the snow.
Last week made us question living on board a boat in Canada in the wintertime.
Made us very ready to be elsewhere for wintertime in Canada.
Which we'll chat about later. But this is a picture I took last week, and you can see all the snow. We had actually iced right up until the boat.
Past
the boat.
Past the boat.
Yeah, so we got more people joining us.
Hey
guys.
Hi guys.
Let me just say, if you make a comment, please put your first name and then the comment, just so we know who is making them. And don't hesitate to comment throughout the live, and we'll answer any questions you have.
Yes.
Should we introduce ourselves? We never even got to that.
Do people not know who we are?
I don't know. Okay, winter on board Tangaroa. Oh, I'm Janice, by the way.
I'm Blaine.
Hey, there's Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Jason's been making lots of comments. You've been talking to Jason.
Fine, yeah. I have.
Good to have you on board, Jason. Okay, winter on board Tangaroa. And during this live and this YouTube stream, because we're actually streaming on YouTube also, we are going to chat about what winter's been like so far. We think spring is coming, but we're not sure.
That'd be so nice.
Yes, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about being iced in, and we'll show you pictures. We're going to talk about heating of Tangaroa and what we've been doing, if it's been keeping up, because everybody always asks us how we heat our boat. I do have a toque on. It's actually hot in here. The toque is just basically covering my mess of a hair. So it's more of a hair accessory during the wintertime. We're going to talk about, yes, our heating systems, which is a Dickinson and a hydronic. We got pictures. We're going to give a Railings update, which is going to be Blaine's part. Blaine's going to also talk to us about the Windless, and we got pictures before and after. And then we're going to talk about the engine swap, which is coming up, and we have pictures.
So excited about that.
Also a video coming out this weekend all about it. We were just putting it out, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to talk about the Great Siberian Sushi Run.
Yes, it's just you currently, Jason.
Yeah, we're streaming on Facebook also. Okay. And we've got 5 or 6 people on Facebook. Blaine, I wasn't even here for this. Talk to us about last week.
What, the snow or the ice before?
Those pictures. That is last week.
Last week. Yeah.
I was in Seattle picking up boat parts and bottom paint.
We got a bit of a snow dump over, I think, 2 or 3 days last week. Was it last week or the week before? I don't know. Anyway, it got snowy, and it was pretty nuts around Victoria for a few days. Kind of one of those canceled schools kind of things. So Izzy was on board for a week straight or 3 days straight. I was still going into the shop and still going into work, at least for a couple of the days. I did leave one day early because it was getting pretty nasty. But yeah.
But you were breaking ice to get in.
I was.
And let's show you some more pictures.
We've been breaking ice for 2 weeks. No longer, though.
So that was us last week. Poor Maggie, we had to actually get her jacket out. I got this for her this year at the SPCA thrift store, which was awesome. And you can see us in that dinghy picture. That's actually us breaking ice all behind us, which was absolutely crazy. So, thanks, Jason. So yes, it was crazy breaking ice.
And the ice was we've been out here for what, 3 years now?
This is our third winter.
This will be our third winter out here, and we've had it ice up a little bit where we've had to break ice through. I've never seen it like this. We had ice past us into the bay, and we're way out in the bay, and thick ice. I mean, there were sections where we were going through where the ice was probably close to an inch thick. So it was pretty brutal, and it was -8 Celsius.
-8. It was cold.
I think is what it dropped down to, which is definitely the coldest it's been as well.
Yes. What we did do, sorry, Jason, we haven't spread the word about the GoFundMe. We'll talk about that with you privately, okay? If that's okay. So what we did is break ice, but we've got the dinghies that can actually break ice and break pathways into the government dock, because there's actually about 20 to 22 people that live out here in the wintertime, and most of them have dinghies with the soft bottoms, so they weren't able to break the ice. But our dinghy, we've got the one with the fiberglass bottom, and Durba is just a beast.
Durba's a tank.
And it's got the fiberglass bottom, so we were able to break pathways into the government dock for everybody to get in and out. Search and rescue also came out, love them, and they had to check on some of the people who live out here. Some of them are running out of water, some are running out of propane.
Yep.
They actually took one of the liveaboards back to the dock with them in order for him to go get stuff. So it got a little bit sketchy.
Well, there was actually at one point the Brentwood Bay Ferry.
Oh, you can tell that story about the dog.
Was breaking ice into Todd Inlet. There was a person whose dog ran out onto the ice, and another person on one of the boats sent a flare up in the air to get somebody out to try to save the dog. Sadly, they couldn't, but during all of that, the Brentwood Bay Ferry actually went in and broke ice into Todd Inlet, which is unheard of. I've never seen that before. I mean, that's a pretty big ferry, and Todd Inlet's not a super big place.
Yeah, they came in because they weren't sure what the flare was for. So they had to respond because they were the closest boat. I wasn't here this time. I was down in Seattle, and I actually returned that night.
Well, you're the one that told me about the flare going off.
We have a very good Facebook group for our Brentwood Bay Marine community, everybody who lives on boats, and we're very tight. So whenever something goes on, everybody sends it on Facebook, and they take care of each other. So that's how I heard about it. Okay, but that was it. And then this was the docks. So you can see on the upper left corner, that's our dinghy. That's Durba. So that is breaking ice in to the boat that Blaine was working on, which is the top left boat called Safari. The docks were covered, and that is all solid ice down on the bottom right.
And the reason why we pulled in there is because that's the only place we could really safely get into. Our slip is around the corner from where that is, closer to shore, and the ice was, for our tender, was impenetrable. It was hard enough just to get there.
Yeah, it was no way. We've never seen ice like this. But I took this absolutely stunning photo going out just as the ice was breaking up. You can see in the just look at it. Just look at it. Hey, Karine. Hi, I've just got done eating what Jason cooked me. Good job, Jason.
Nice work.
But you can see in the bottom left corner of that photo the ice. And Izzy and I were coming out, and I saw the sunset. I was like, okay, the ice is going away. This is perfect. Right. So that was our winter so far. We're hoping it doesn't come back.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with winter.
Yeah,
like,
that was
in general, period. But
did we stay warm? That's going to be the next question. So talk about how we heat this boat and if they kept up.
So we've got 2 heaters on board. We've got a little Dickinson heater up in the main salon here that does the majority of the work keeping the salon heated. That's the one on the left.
Yeah.
And then the one on the right is the ITR Chinook heater, which is a hydronic heater. So it's got a boiler in there, diesel fired. So it heats up water, and then that water circulates through the boat and goes to individual air handlers or radiators throughout the boat that can heat up individual rooms on their own thermostats.
When we use the Dickinson, we usually only have it on during the day when it's cold. We turn it off at night.
And we usually only have it at about 2.
And we turn it off when we go to shore.
Yeah.
What did we do over the last week and a half?
We had it turned up to 4 when it was over that cold snap, and it ran 24/7 for the entire time. And it was enough where it wasn't cold per se in the main salon, but it wasn't warm either. It was bearable. So it was just barely able to keep up.
Talk about the hydronic and how it works. I'm going to just pop onto our Facebook page to make sure I'm not missing any comments on there.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so the hydronic is, like I said, it's got a diesel boiler and it circulates hot water. So it works pretty well. You're saying
so
that,
Jason wrote, hey, what's your opinion on these diesel heaters? Is it better to have the gasoline one versus the diesel heater, which are identical to each other, but they just use different fuels? Because I've been hearing a lot, problems with them or error codes and choking up on the diesel heaters.
I would always prefer a diesel heater over a gasoline heater. I don't particularly like gasoline on boats. The fumes are explosive, and in my opinion, it's not the safest. If you have gas on your boat, I guess that's a different story. We don't. We have diesel only, so I prefer to have the diesel because it's a little bit better for volatility than the gasoline is. A little bit safer.
And our mom says, hey, Mom, she says, Burr next Arctic blast, according to Farmer's Almanac, is predicted for February 10th.
Nope, that can just stay away.
They're down in Tennessee. You guys can have it. We do not want it.
Those farmers can kiss it.
Okay. So did our Dickinson diesel keep up?
The Dickinson diesel barely kept up. Barely. In hindsight, I probably would have gotten the next bigger one when we first initially bought this one, had I known, which is the Lofoten, I think.
I don't know. We need better windows. I think it'll be fine if we get our windows replaced.
Better insulation will help immensely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one.
You're right. And the hydronic heater, we actually don't use that much. Izzy uses it the most in her bedroom. We have it turned on in our bedroom a little bit in our stateroom.
Mainly, it's just hot water. It's what supplies our domestic hot water. So it's kind of like an on-demand hot water heater.
I have to say, it rocks the hot water.
It does. It's never. I mean, even when it gets cold, which is especially important to realize. Like our water tanks are part of the hull. So when it gets really cold and the water gets really cold, our water gets really cold. And even with the water as cold as it is, our showers are still hot, and we have as much hot water as we want. So it works pretty well for that.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Jason asked, have you ever thought about having solar power, but also have wind power, the wind generators? So I grew up off the grid, and we had a big windmill on our house, plus the solar. The windmill was loud, and it shook the house, and I've heard that from feedback on people on boats on the noise of the wind generator. Okay. It does not make as much power at all compared to solar. I think it's better off to put on more solar panels, which is the plan.
Well, for sure. And up here, I mean, you have to, obviously realize with the wind generators, you need wind. And, usually up here, it's just not windy enough. Like right now, it's flat calm. It's been calm all day long. We get the odd storm comes in, then we get blow come through. But where we are, it's usually just gusts. So we wouldn't really benefit much or at all from a wind generator.
No, and our plan is we're heading south. And so our solar, we should not have an issue and have to run our generators once we get south. Actually, we got to go north first and then south. But even north in Alaska, there's sunshine up there. We're just in the Pacific Northwest, and there's no sunshine.
And once again, like you have to have wind. Wind generators would be a lot better, say, if you were in the Caribbean.
He says there's wind generators that aren't loud.
Yep. But as far as production, you might be better off, say, in the Caribbean where you get trade winds that come through, where you get windy days and days and days on end. We just don't get that up here. It's for the majority, it's calm.
Right.
So we wouldn't get much benefit off the wind generators.
Now, as for hydro generators, I don't know about the water lily thing. I know when I sailed across the Indian and the Atlantic Ocean, we had a propeller we threw overboard the sailboat, and we dragged it along, and it made power, but the sharks kept biting it. Seriously, they kept biting it. Something kept biting it and just destroying it. So. And it didn't make very much power either.
It looked like a lure.
Okay, railing update. Look at, guys, just look in the top right corner.
Yeah. So the rails are up. They're not complete, but they are mounted. So we once again look like a a complete boat.
Also, look in the top right, the canvas is up, and that has totally changed our living space this winter. We have our fire pit in there, and we turn that on, and we've got a whole, like, it's totally extended our living space.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out there. We can actually chill and look around and not be inside the boat. And it actually quickly heats and heats better with that fire out there than it does inside the main boat. We'll actually open up the main door of the boat and turn on that fire just to preheat the inside of the boat.
Yeah, so the railings are great. We love the design that Blaine designed with the fabrication. Hey, guys.
Thanks.
How often do you come to Bellingham? Not enough. We'll get down there. But yeah, the design is great, especially for water just rolling off the edges and dirt. Yeah. I just sweep it. It's just, I love it.
Yeah, it's worked out really well. And I think it'll really shine. Hate to say it, you know, when we get out in rougher water and we start taking water over the bow, then it's going to help clear that off a lot better. And they're also going to be, in my opinion, probably more stable and stronger than what was up there before.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So railings are up. Love them. Love, 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 love. We do have to take them off and bed them.
Yes. No?
No? I thought we wanted to bed.
Well, we're not to take them off.
Anyways, we'll sort it out, but they're up and going. We love them. Okay. Windless update. Before on the left, after on the right.
Yes. I'm particularly proud of that project. It was an enormous pain in the ass.
It's just way harder than we thought it would be.
Just the polishing, the sheer amount of polishing and alignment for all the gears and the shafts. It was just terrible, but it looks amazing. It works great. We were just on the bow this morning and it's all wet. It's been wet for a week. And I looked at Janice and I said, look, Janice, no rust.
Oh no, he was like going around it, going, no rust, no rust, no rust, no rust. No rust. I'm just like,
and we've used it, so it's had salt water on it and no rust.
And it worked great. We went down to the San Juans over Christmas and cruised for 12 days, which videos are coming out, and the Windless is just, wow, works like a hot damn.
Yeah.
No really leaks either.
That one. Nope.
Nope.
No leaks, no rust. It's perfect.
And it's like a work of art. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, look at that before picture, the steel. We hated it. That after, all stainless steel. It's absolutely stunning. I just got to get my Flitz stainless steel polish out.
Yeah. So
that's the Windless. It's working. We're good to go. Engine swap.
Yes, this is a especially big one for me. Janice is
look at the date,
happy, but I'm happier.
Oh, you guys, just look at the date. Look at the date.
Yeah, that's happening. So we've got yard time booked already. That's happening April 15th. I am working feverishly to get the new engines ready to go. I've made a lot of headway. Been there all weekend this weekend.
Let's clarify. Go back to start. We are taking out
the original Detroit 12V71 engines, which they're good engines. I'm not going to fault them. There are people that love them. And if you just want something to go, they will go. They're just really loud. They are very hard to keep from leaking.
It rains into our bilge.
Even, you know, I look at the boat that I've been working on, and it's a larger yacht, and they've got newer Detroits than ours. And this boat is spotless, clean,
all white, red carpeting in the engine room.
Yep. And I can still find leaks on the Detroits if you look around. Like it's so difficult to keep them from leaking and to keep them that way.
So we are putting in
Cummins 6.7 liter engines.
Out of?
Well, the ones that I have purchased came out of a 2012 pickup truck.
You're right, Curtis. Let the poor old things rest in peace. I agree.
I've got nothing against the old engines other like for the way they run. I cannot put up with oily bilges. And unfortunately, this boat has been so severely neglected before we bought it that to put these engines to the point where they wouldn't leak and I would trust them would take thousands of dollars and thousands of
we have
hours.
no records on these engines.
No.
Nothing.
No,
Okay.
I've got no interest in going through that.
So these Cummins are from a Dodge.
So the Cummins are from a Dodge. And the Detroits go through a lot of fuel too.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a pretty poor brake-specific fuel consumption. So the new engines come out of a 2012
Hi,
Dodge.
Kristen. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Kirsten, congratulations on becoming a new daddy.
Congratulations.
Keep going.
I didn't know that. So the new engines benefit from, well, how many years is it? I imagine the Detroits were designed in the 50s or somewhere around in there. So 70 years of improvement on design, and it shows. They're a much smaller package. Power levels are similar. Obviously, torque is not as much because you're dealing with a 6.7 liter over a 14 liter engine. They're much lighter, which is actually going to require some ballast adjustments. But all in all, they're better. There's not near as many places for them to leak from. The ones that we got out of the 2012 Dodges, one was 150,000 kilometers on it. The other one was 250,000.
Mm-hmm.
They were both dry motors, so there was nothing leaking out of them at 250,000 kilometers.
Okay, hold on.
Which is impressive.
Ready? Katya, congratulations on becoming a mummy, and you look absolutely fabulous, girl. Keep going.
I will continue.
Okay, so we have the Cummins that are going in. We
Yes.
got two of them. One is all put together. The other one is still a block.
Well, after this weekend, so I've
yeah.
been working on it all weekend. I've got it built up to long block stage. So crank, pistons, rods all in, cylinder heads on, torque down, and that's how I left it today. So I still have to do all the accessories, oil pan, valve covers, injectors, rockers, all that stuff has to be put together in that one.
It's coming.
Still have to build exhaust manifolds, which is going to be a big job. Got to build all the cooling pipes for the new heat exchangers.
I have to strip all the paint off.
Yep, Janice has to strip all the paints off the new gearboxes, which are two ZF 325-1 units.
Bottom right-hand corner are transmissions.
Yep, bottom right-hand corner. They're not new units, but they're new to us. They're very low hour. They're aluminum versus the cast iron ones that are on board. They have a higher horsepower rating than the ones that we have on board. So basically, they'll last forever with what we're doing with them.
And what else do we have?
We have new heat exchangers. And when I say new, these aren't just new to us. These are brand new Cummins.
Those are the white tube. Yeah. I had to ask. I didn't know what it was. Those are what I went down to Seattle to pick up.
So got really lucky on those. Managed to score those for about a third of what they would cost new. And they are new.
And then what am I holding in that picture?
That is the ECM or the PCM, the powertrain control module for the Cummins engine. We're using an aftermarket one. This one's made by a company called Balder Systems. And what it is it's an aftermarket ECU.
Electronic control unit.
Yep, that's fully laptop programmable, real time. So I don't have to do flash tuning. The engines that I got came with ECUs for the Dodge trucks, which is not going to work in our application. There's too many things that would have to change.
I do want to clarify, it sounds confusing, but Blaine absolutely geeks out on this stuff. Yeah. He loves tuning engines, so this is perfect for him.
I've been dealing with aftermarket engine management systems for 13 years with my business, so I'm very confident with them, and I'm very comfortable with them. So
that little box is going to be controlling our engines.
And transmissions, because we have electronic shifting transmissions as well. So that's going to be doing that too.
Now our transmissions are going to be connected because that was the hardest part. He wanted to soft mount them, and we just could not figure it out.
I wanted to remote mount the transmissions.
And soft mount? Remote mount.
Keep them separate. Transmissions, so the transmissions and the engines would be separate. And the benefit of that is when you have them separately mounted, you can run hard mounts on the transmission because it's taking all the thrust loading from the propellers, but you can soft mount the engine where most of the vibration is. So you can remove a lot of the vibration from the equation. It was just turning into too much of a headache to try to do that. And ultimately, the new engines, being they're an inline 6 configuration, they're incredibly smooth anyway, so it was less important. So that idea got dropped, and we ended up just deciding to go straight to the engines with the transmissions. So that's in the left-hand picture. That is a bell housing to start the process of bolting up the engines to the transmissions. So that would be an SAE number 2 bell housing.
And you had to customize them.
So SAE is the diameter of that ring that you see that the transmission bolts to. That's a 2. They unfortunately do not make an SAE number 2 bell housing for the 6.7 liter Cummins engines that were in the trucks, because they use a different gear case. The Marine ones run all the gears on the back of the motor, so the bell housings are special to that rear gear case. They don't make them for the front gear motors. So what I had to do was go back in time, and I picked up a bell housing from a 5.9 liter Cummins engine, which is very similar, but there are 2 bolt holes that are not the same. So I had to weld up a couple of areas on the bell housing and drill holes for them. And then also there's a camshaft seal that is made into the bell housing on the 6.7 liter engines. So I had to talk really nice to my buddy over at CMI Machining.
Thank you, CMI Machining.
Huge. Thank you, Rick. We appreciate it. And he was able to strap down the bell housings and CNC machine O-ring grooves into the existing bell housings. So,
and then on the right, we had to go see our friends at Foreman CNC, Chris and Natalie.
Yep. They those are the torsional couplings that go between the engine and the transmission. So the crankshaft connects to one portion of that, and the transmission shaft connects to the other part. And that's a flexible coupler. It's basically got a big rubber ring inside of it, and it's able to absorb all the torsional vibrations that the engine's sending out to prevent damaging the transmission and the engine. The ones that came with the engines were for much bigger flywheels. However, they're the same dimensions as the ones for the smaller flywheels. So we were able to just machine down the outer flange and then re-drill the pattern to use those onto the new engines.
Which is perfect.
So now we have everything we need to get the transmissions to bolt up to the engines. Oh, I forgot to mention back up. We had to have another adapter for the bell housing to the transmissions, because the transmissions are in SAE number 1, which is a bigger diameter than the SAE 2 on the engines. So I had to have another adapter bought, which they do make, to take up that difference.
This is going to be pretty cool when you guys see it.
Yes.
And we are putting out a video this weekend about getting ready for the engine swap with a lot more information about this stuff. But I don't think anybody's going to have this set up, what you've been doing. A lot of it is fabricating.
No. It's the transmissions are oversized for what we need. Basically what went into the choice of that was the gear ratio was important for the new engines, because they spend another 30%, or I guess 50% faster than the existing engines. So we needed a 2.9 to 1 ratio on those. So these transmissions had that. Number 2, the price point on them was incredibly good. They're used transmissions, but I got a smoking deal on those as well. So that went a lot into it. And then 3, we're going to be traveling oceans with this, and I wanted to make sure that whatever we were putting in could take everything that we threw at it. And a lot of the transmissions that you'd see bolted up to these engines are made for recreational use. So they're not designed for heavy use running days on end at higher power levels, which even we won't be using them per se like that, but I wanted to have a lot of safety margin there.
I'll answer Kareen's question. So Kareen, we really wanted an aluminum boat. I was actually looking for a 50-footer. This one was kind of abandoned, I would call it. Like, just, it hadn't been taken care of. It was up in Alaska. We got it for $200,000 Canadian, which is about $150,000 American, for the whole boat, everything inside, tools, everything. Underwear. Pot. There was even a joint inside. We got everything for $150,000 American.
Yeah. We
have put $150,000 American. So 200,000 Canadian. We have put about, roughly $100,000 Canadian into it over the last 3 years with everything we've done so far. We could not afford this boat if we didn't do everything ourselves. And you can see even with the engines, Blaine is sourcing everything. We're using eBay. He's fabricating, he's customizing. We do everything on this boat ourselves. The only thing we didn't do ourselves was lay the flooring, right, in the main salon, which is going to be cut up to put these engines in, and build the wheelhouse. But Ruben gave us a great deal. He was amazing. Loved him.
Yeah.
And he helped us out. So everything else we've done ourselves.
It's
except
always
blasting the outside. That was one of our biggest expenses ever.
Yeah.
And I did a video about that, taking the paint off.
So it's always a
Mhm.
a balance for us, or a calculation, is how much is our time worth. So if we can get something done, or get something for less time than it would, or less money than it would, that our time is worth to do it ourselves, we buy it. Unfortunately, it usually works out to be our time is cheaper.
We also like doing it all ourselves because then we know this boat inside and out.
That's true.
We've
Yeah.
taken it right down to the bare. We know everything. Blaine will know these engines inside and out.
Yeah.
So
And it's
$300,000 or $400,000 bill. Yeah, over the last 3.5, 4 years. Yeah, I would guess that, Kareen.
yeah, probably.
Canadian. So 100,000 Canadian is $70,000 American. We do have to remember this is our house.
Yeah.
And our house here, like we do have a house on land, and it's valued at 1.1 million.
And
everything's extremely expensive. And it's not even a big house. Like everything's extremely expensive up here in Canada, which is why we're looking forward to taking this boat overseas into the countries where labor is less expensive. We get a lot more done, and our dollar goes further, which is why we're heading over also. A lot of this stuff on this boat will not get done before we leave.
Yeah, and the benefit of having it where the project has taken so long is that we can really not have to rush and spend money on anything. Like, for example, those heat exchangers. I've been looking for heat exchangers for 2 years. So I just keep my eye open. And fortunately, things just so happen to fall in my lap.
And an example, we were looking at the catamarans.
Yeah.
Right? Newer catamaran that a lot of the YouTubers are using. What was that going for? Was it 500, 600,000?
Which one, the H&H?
Yeah.
Or the H&H would have to be more than that, I would think.
So you're looking at, it's expensive. Oh, I know how expensive everything is. I can relate. Yeah, it's tough, man. But Kareen, I'm glad you kicked cancer's butt. Good job. Okay, engine. So we're ready. We're looking forward to it. April 15th, 2024. Coming out of the water. If you guys want to join our journey, actually, let's go back. Hold on. Because people are always like, what's happening next? So why are we doing all this? There is a goal. You guys ready? For a story of bravery, determination, and a touch of crazy. Welcome to the sequel of the Great Siberian Sushi Run, made famous by 3 Nordhavens in 2009. Our 3-step plan is to follow in their footsteps, but this time in a 1969 aluminum trawler.
Step 1 was to get an affordable boat, which meant a fixer-upper. Tangaroa was built in 1969, and when we got her, she was in rough shape, which meant she needed a massive refit before our attempt to sail her to Japan. Step 2 is underway, fixing her up, and Step 3 starts the summer of 2025.
Our journey from Victoria to Alaska to Siberia and Japan will be off the beaten track. There will be bad weather, tricky waters, and things we can't predict. And we're sharing it all on camera. The good, the bad, and the downright ugly.
Subscribe, as it's going to be a wild ride.
So that's our plan, right? We actually have a goal, is why we're getting this engine swap, is we're doing the engine swap. This summer, we're going around Vancouver Island as a test with the engine. Shake down, shake down. Shake down? No, shake down. But yes, we're going around Vancouver Island, and we'll document everything on our YouTube channel. And I promise I'm putting out weekly videos now. That's just for you there, Jason. Weekly videos. I'm actually doing pretty good at it. And then the following summer, in end of June, Izzy graduates high school, and that's what we've been waiting for. We didn't want to pull her out of high school and take her with us. She didn't want to go, first of all, and we just weighed the pros and cons of it, and we're not doing it. So we're going to let her graduate high school. We're not going to take her bedroom away, and then we are going.
Yes, to Alaska. Is that where you're going with that?
Yes. So I was reading Kareen's comment, and I'm so sorry.
Yes.
But yes, we're taking the boat up to Alaska. We're going to spend winter in Alaska, usually probably around Wrangell or St. Petersburg. And again, we'll document everything, do some winter cruising up there. And then we're going to start making our way across the Aleutians to Siberia, if we can get in there. I'm looking at all the paperwork and trying to figure that out. And then to Japan.
With the things going the way they are, it still feels like it might be a little too crazy by the time we get there. I mean,
yes. And we're going to circumnavigate Japan.
Yes.
And there's lots of cruising there, and nothing's really documented on YouTube, so we can't wait to do that.
So many amazing things.
So if you want to support our journey, we would love you to come join us. To be a crew, you can look for us on Patreon. That's our Patreon there, is Onboard Tangaroa 1969. And you can join for $10 a month. And if you join, we send you a crew coin, which is just like this. Okay, and it spins. It has Tangaroa, the logo, and the crew on there. And this is your gateway on board Tangaroa. If you see us anywhere in the world, come on board, show your coin, and you are our guests. So we send you a crew coin. We have swag, lots of good stuff we give out. Also, if you can't join our crew on Patreon, that's okay. Just subscribe and share us with your friends. We would love that to grow this channel and really get it out there to people to, life is short. You just want to go out there and enjoy life and live every day to its fullest. And I think that's exactly what Blaine and I are doing. And we're kind of making the dream happen, right? Yeah. One day at a time. We can't fix this whole boat. We make the money and then we do it. It's just, yeah, it is a monumentous task, but yes, so much fun. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent, Kareem. Absolutely love it. You sound like you've got the world by the tail now. Oh, it's always good to be happy. And I think that's the thing about getting on board Tangaroa is the boat makes us happy. We're getting back onto the water. We're documenting our journey, and we can't wait to get going and head north and to bring you guys along. So that is our presentation for tonight. Again, please check out our Patreon or follow us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. Tell your friends about us, share us. We would love that. And I look forward to sending some people some crew coins. And if you have any last questions, we'll hang out for a little bit. Just let you know, I'm actually not drinking. I'm drinking a San Pellegrino. I keep doing this and everybody's like, what are you doing?
Just let you know I'm drinking. I'm drinking an IPA.
He's drinking, but he's got one of our Tangaroa cozies.
That's right,
that we give out as swag.
Representing.
Okay, everybody. Again, if you have any comments, just throw them in the Facebook and YouTube. We love you all. With that, we are calling it a night.
Yeah.
We have our electric blankets about to get turned on because that is really the secret about living on a boat is turning on your electric blanket about half an hour before you crawl into bed.
I still got to go in a boat and go turn off the generator on another boat.
Yeah, Blaine is taking care of a boat next door.
Yeah. The generator's currently running charging batteries, so I've got to put my gear on and go out and turn that off.
And yes, you have a coin, Corn Nuts. I'm just going to use his name, Corn Nuts Gazpacho Libra. Hey, have you changed it? He's changed his name. He used to just be Corn Nuts Gazpacho. Now he's Corn Nuts Gazpacho Libra.
Libre.
Free the gazpacho from Corn Nuts. Okay, you may have seen Corn Nuts in one of our past videos.
Ooh, oh, she gets to sit on the couch while he cooks dinner too.
I don't. I had to cook dinner tonight. We did get an air fryer for Christmas. I have to say it is the best thing on board a boat.
I was at the shop working on the engines.
That's true. I did cook dinner because he was at the shop. Okay.
All right.
Any last words of wisdom? Don't buy a boat. No, buy a boat.
No, we love it. It's yeah.
It is not all roses.
Not all fun and games.
No, there are moments when we sit on the back deck and we look at each other and we're like, what the hell did we get ourselves into?
And there are times where we wonder if we would have been better off getting a different boat. But,
yes, we have thought that. But we absolutely love it.
This is the boat that we have, and this is what we're doing.
Okay. And with that, follow our journeys. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching.